Hello, I'm so excited I can finally show you the new luggage that I've got to take with me to Singapore. And I know I've talked about wanting it before, so finally I have here in my humble hands the BagSmart Blast 43 litre roller backpack. So convertible, yay. I'll mostly be using it as a carry-on, like a carry-on suitcase as with its wheels, but I love the idea of having these straps available for me if needed, because occasionally you do end up in places where having a backpack is just so much easier. Now, let's just have a look at it. This is the, I'll lift it up, but it's probably going to cover my face just about. There you go. Like I said, about the same size as a normal carry-on suitcase, and it does fit the carry-on dimensions for most airlines, although there's always airlines out there that have smaller dimensions, so please check before you assume that it will fit. Now, there's about 1 million different features on this. As I said, it's mostly a roller suitcase. So you take it take it carry on as you're traveling. I will be taking this. I'll also have another my BagSmart Blast 40 litre backpack that I will also have as my carry-on, my personal item, and which I think is going to be so much space. I never travel with that much space, but we're going to do it for this trip just so I can use both bags together and see how they go. Perhaps the second backpack that you use, the 28 litre, would probably be perfectly fine. But my husband's going to use that 28 litre. I'm going to just use the two together and test them out. So let me show a few of these features. Firstly, we'll start with the main. Let me open the main compartment here. When I received the bag, it was actually flat, so it does store flat. It doesn't store constructed like this. But inside here are some structural poles, I guess, for lack of a better word. And there's a little press study thing on there, and they just clip in, and that just helps to give the bag some more structure. And now that I've pulled it out, I'm not going to be able to get it back together. There we go, clipped it back in. That just helps to hold the bag, in its shape correctly. Now inside here we have a pocket on the side here, a mesh pocket on the side, and another mesh pocket on the front here. So there, and it's quite a large, if you can see the depth of my hand there, it is quite a good depth for the main compartment. I'll show you in a minute with how much stuff I can shove in there, you'll see. So other little pockets on here, there's one there at the front, there's yet another one here on the top, with two more little mesh pockets there as well. On the sides, this side we have a large water bottle holder, which is great, nice and deep. I've lost water bottles in the past because they've just fallen out as we've been travelling, because there's just not enough depth in there to hold them. That one will be perfect. So that's on that side. On this side, we have another almost hidden pocket here. Hidden in the side here. Now this one's an RFID pocket, and it also has some little slots in here for credit cards. So that's a good spot if you need to put your passport or other valuables and credit cards, things like that, while you're travelling in the side. And that is quite a hidden little pocket there. You would barely know it's there. There's also what I like on here. There's a handle here. There's a handle on the top. There's also this handle on the bottom. So lifting it like this is easy as well. Often I find I want to move my bags like that, and there's nothing there to hold on to. So that's another good thing. One more pocket that I didn't mention on the front flap here. There's another pocket here to keep things. I would keep my cardigan and book or something like that in there, so I could access them easily while I was on the flight. Now the back, the business end. First I'll show you this. At the bottom here, underneath, is a rain cover. So if it needs to be made waterproof, you've got that as an option there to pull out and over the top of it to cover it up. Now, converting it into a backpack, it could not be easier. It literally takes just seconds, unless you're perhaps slightly undercoat like I tend to be, and it takes a little bit longer. But we pull these, obviously the straps come out. Just got the clips. They each clip onto the sides here. Of course, like I said, I'm not going to be able to make it happen because everything's in the way. Right, try this way. Let's try and get them on. So it's as easy as that, or probably easier. I probably made that look hard. I didn't show you before, but it does have the handle to lift up to make it reeling easier. And then I'll show you the size of it on my back. It fits on quite nicely. I'm a small person, so if you're larger, it would look a little bit smaller. But it does also have the chest strap to help it be held quite securely while you're walking. It's not as comfortable as my my other backpack, which is more structured, but because it's a hybrid, you've got that other sort of setup to it as well. But it would work fine. It would work fine if I was carrying it for, you know, if there were some stairs or there was a rough area or I just needed to carry it for a short amount of time. Now, let me show you how much stuff. Just turn it this way. Let me show you how much I can fit in this. Just my normal packing. Now, I've got over here, if I can reach them, my BagSmart Blast packing cubes. Yes, I have packing cubes as well. I seem to have just about everything from BagSmart. They also come in other colours, including ones that kind of match the bag. But I like green, so I have green. Now let's put them in here. And let's see how I go with getting them all packed in. I'll reach over here. BagSmart Blast toiletry case as well. Yes, okay, I do like this brand, you can tell. Goes in there. More of the packing cubes. Here we go. So you can see I've got most of these all filled fairly full. So I'm not trying to cram a fair bit in here. Let's see. It does it quite nicely, and it's actually still quite a good amount of room just there on the top for a few other bits and pieces. There you go. So that was me cramming my whole 2 weeks worth of clothes and toiletries into this bag. I could obviously fit a pair of shoes easily in there. I'm going to Singapore. It'll probably be a couple of pairs of sandals. I probably won't need any shoes. But that's it. So I think this looks like an absolutely fantastic option for me as a roller or carry-on suitcase alternative. I don't actually have a carry-on suitcase. Mine died a couple of years ago. I've been using my husband's or just winging it, I guess, not taking one. But this trip, I'm going to be carry-on only, and I'm looking forward to doing that with this BagSmart bag. I will report back later once I've done my trip and tell you how I found it. But if it's anything like the other BagSmart backpacks I've had, I will love it. See ya. Here I am back from Singapore. It's been a few weeks. I've taken a couple of other local trips here in South Australia since then, up to Outback South Australia, helping guide on some tours to Lake Eyre. And I've taken my 43-litre roller backpack on those trips as well as my Singapore trip. So I can now tell you all the things I like about this bag from 3 trips, not just one. But But first, I just need to make a couple of corrections. Some things I said in the first section of the video that I got a little bit wrong. So the first thing is this front pocket. I mentioned it just briefly at the end. What I didn't mention about it is this is actually also a laptop pocket. So it's nice and padded in there, nice and soft, and it takes laptops up to 15.6 inches. I've got a 13-inch one, so much smaller, and I didn't use it for a laptop on my trip to Singapore, but I did for both my trips up to Outback SA. And I promise you, if you've ever driven across the Unidata track, you understand that a laptop needs a little bit of protection, and it did quite nicely in the front of this bag. So that's that one. I also said the wrong thing about this cover under here. I assume this is a rain cover, and I didn't look at it closely enough, but this cover is actually for going over the wheels. And it goes over the wheels, it velcros back in there. You can see me doing that. Velcro's back on there. And the point of this is so that when you're using this as a backpack, when it's on your back, the wheels, if they've been dirty, are not rubbing against your clothing. So it protects your clothing against any dirt, any marks, anything like that on the bottom of the wheels. So that were two things that I didn't quite explain properly, or at all properly, in the last video. So now, how did I go using this? I was in Singapore for 2 weeks. I used this bag and I was in my 40-litre other BagSmart backpack, and I had oodles of room for me. This bag held all of my clothes and basic stuff. My other bag held things like my laptop, my carry-on stuff, a book to read, things like that, so in my other backpack. And I had enough room to bring home things like, I bought myself a Lego set from Legoland. I bought a couple of new things like clothing-wise. I bought some tea. I bought a whole pile of different little bits and pieces, and I still had heaps and heaps of room to fit them in my bags. So I was really stoked with the amount of space I had in this. I love this. I love that, if I can show you, I love that this opens up like a suitcase. It makes access in here really, really easy, especially on my Outback tours where I barely even unpacked. We sort of were rocking up into our accommodation at 8:30 at night and leaving by 7 the next morning. So I wasn't really unpacking. I was just sort of grabbing what I needed, which was all in packing cubes. So I just grabbed them out, get what I needed, straight back in. And the access was fabulous. I didn't have to go through the bits that I didn't need. So that was one of my favourite things. I also really like and used regularly these pockets on the top. So the very top one, I used this one a lot for things that I needed access to quite quickly when you arrive in a place. Things like the power adapter and any charging cables, some basic toiletries. If you just want to get somewhere and brush your teeth, you don't want to be digging into the bag for the rest of the stuff. So I used that for those sort of things. My glasses or my sunglasses, depending on which ones I wanted or was using. So that's what that was really handy for. And my AirPods, they were in there too, things like that. And this this little pocket here, I actually use this one for snacks. So on all my trips, it was a really good spot for me to keep things like protein bars and my tea bags and just a few little stacky sort of things. I liked doing them in here as opposed to on the top because it was just a little bit more insulated away from the warmer weather, particularly in Singapore. So I mean, it's not a proper insulated pocket, but I felt like it was being in the centre there like that, just to keep things just a little bit cooler. So there you go. Any downsides? Well, I can't think of any. I did only use it as a roller backpack while I was in Singapore. I didn't really use it as a backpack, a roller bag in Singapore. Really only didn't use it as a backpack. But that worked beautifully for me there with this one and the other backpack. It just worked together as a really lovely set. Going up to Outback SA, I've only taken this, and I just had like a little sling bag as a day pack, just to keep the things in that I needed during the day more than anything else. And this went on my back pretty much every night when we arrived, because almost everywhere we stayed was we were getting out the tour bus and walking across dirt or, you know, rubbly sort of ground or mud even. It's been very wet up there, so there was lots of red dirt and mud. So it wasn't really an environment I wanted to be putting my bag down in as such. So I pretty much used it as a backpack the whole time, and it was perfectly fine. I wasn't walking really long. I'm not hiking long distances, but it was great to get it to and from the bus to my room without putting it in the dirt. Sadly, I have got a bit of a dirty patch on here, so you can tell that this has been used well. I haven't tried to clean it off yet. I need to do that. So perhaps colour might be a consideration. I do really love this colour. I do quite enjoy having this colour. It stands out. It's particularly, you know, if you're checking it, it's going to be a little bit more obvious than a basic black one. But this is the downside when things get a little bit dirty, but maybe I should be able to get that off. We'll see. I don't even know what it is really, but it's just something that's ended up on there in the tour bus up in Outback SA. Well, the other thing I really enjoy, this drink bottle pocket. It's huge. I love it. I need to, because I do have quite a decent sized water bottle. I didn't use it one day when I was organising myself first thing in the morning at Cooper Pedy, and I carried my drink bottle in my other sling bag, and it fell out and shattered. No more drink bottle. So I do need to remember to use this one because it is just so much better. So there we go. The BagSmart Blast 43 litre roller backpack. I love it. I will be using it even more. It's not just going to go back in my cupboard. I genuinely do enjoy using it, and I can see that it's going to be a staple of my travels for quite a while to come. I hope you found my review useful, and there will be links below in the description for where you can get your own version of this bag. I do note that recently there's been a waterproof version that has been released since I've picked up my bag too, so that might be another thing you want to look into. Thank you.